move forward for 2019. Keep in mind that funding, there's only so many ways that you fund these projects. CNP grants, Texas Parks and Wildlife, and it goes on and on and on. But keep in mind, as you put in for grants, you put in for grants along with every other coastal community in the state of Texas. So you're going to be in a waiting line. So, but we still want to go ahead and get these. We want to get these to the city council. So the city council can go ahead and take a look at what we're proposing, and then they can make recommendations back to the Shoreline Taskforce, which ones they think would be viable projects.
And I think Brandon's, at our last meeting, his last recommendation to us was that we need a new study done, that the Morton study was really outdated, and that was ranked highest on our list. So I think when this goes before them, that we also relay that was Brandon's kind of last recommendation as well.
And I think that I agree with you, Abby. I think that with this study, that kind of can outline the rest of our projects as well and what we want to emphasize on, and what our conditions are out there and what we'd like to improve on and keep our beach resilient. So,
Do we have a recommendation to move this forward to the city council?
Yes, I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
so can I clarify?
Any other discussion?
Can I clarify what the exact motion is?
Yeah.
So you'd like to recommend to do an updated study on our beach, so then we can move forward with other potential projects?
Along with this matrix, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
along
I think
with this matrix.
That's how I
Okay.
understood it.
I think what we want to do is show the city council the matrix and recommend it, see if we can do something with the funding, because there aren't any, because we have to work on the Morton study, I think. All right?
Yeah, we'll still, once they pick the projects that they think are viable, then we still need to figure out how we're going to get the funding to go ahead and move forward on these things. But right now, we just want some guidance from the city council on what they might recommend based on the matrix that we're going to provide them.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have a recommendation. We have a second. I think we did. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible action on improvements to ensure our beach and dune ecosystem is well protected. Starting.
Wait, you skipped one, go to second,
Oh,
item
excuse me.
seven.
We gotta talk about water fountains.
Yeah.
Item number 7, discussion and possible action on dog watering fountains at the city beach access.
So we had a community member approach us. Lots of people like to walk their dogs on the beach. I know I do. My dog loves it. And she approached us wondering the feasibility about maybe having dog water fountains out there. And so I did go through. We have quite a lot of our accesses do have water fountains already. So it would just be, we could, I put some pictures in your packet, replacing them. Because the plumbing is already there, we would need to get a licensed plumber that can do backflow to check it. But I just wanted to come get your thoughts on it, see what you thought about this idea.
I've built a couple of these walkovers, and what I would recommend is that we have the foot showers that are there on the we have a double tier shower system.
Right.
If we wanted to, we could probably buy like a hose bib and even weld like take a hose, cut it off at about 2-3 feet or whatever, weld it onto that hose bib and use that versus a $3,000 water fountain.
Yeah, these
I
are
think
pretty
we could probably
expensive.
knock that out for about $100, and then if someone has a bowl or whatever, they can, or put the hose in the dog's mouth.
Yeah.
I think that would work perfect in that situation.
Yeah, I was thinking to just get a hose and all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the problem is that they'll steal the hoses, so
Okay.
you want to cut them off to where it's crazy what they do out there at the public bathrooms and all that stuff. But if you just cut it off, put some J-weld on there, screw it on there, then they'll be able to take it, it'll last forever, and the dogs will be happy, and we'll save some money.
You know,
Yeah.
in addition to that, I mean, I have a dog, she loves the beach, she needs fresh water, but you know, I bring a bowl for her. And something else for, you know, these other dog lovers to consider is that they would really want their dog sharing a drinking fountain with all the other dogs that do visit the island. There are a lot of different pet transmittable viruses and diseases. Not all the pets are up to date, so I would hate to not only spend that amount of money, but be possible contributors to animals getting sick.
I had just one concern, and it was the fact that if you have your little child on the beach, and I'm hoping that he's not gonna go over to the doggy drinking fountain and decide to go ahead and use it, so, you know, so whatever he recommended, the hose, seems like would be a fairly foolproof thing, that a young child could go over, you know, snag himself a drink on that. But getting back to that, we do have a number of beach accesses that do have showers and amenities like that. I think we should just select a couple of them, maybe use it as a beta test site, and then let the people know that, you know, we have dog watering facilities at these locations, and get some feedback and see what they have to say about the whole thing before we really roll out a major program.
I'm not sure if you guys know the answer to this or not, but in the future, each beach access improvement or development, will all of them include some type of rinsing station, or will it be on select
I know that-
access points?
I know for a fact, the ones that have been built over the last 7 or 8 years have all had shower
Right.
stations. And so I think that the plan is to continue the
Yeah,
shower
I
station.
think that's great, and I know Access 21 has that little hose that you guys are talking about. And I think as long as we continue on that path,
I think it really
we're
improves the
meeting a lot of
walk.
people's needs.
Yeah. It's a good amenity to have out on the walkovers.
And I think the next evolution of that is, you know, if you look at the beach accesses we currently have right now, the majority of them, I'd say almost 90% of them, all have nice wooden crossovers. They have quite a few amenities. The next opportunity, of course, is to add brick and mortar restrooms, you know, and at some point in time, those will be things that we'll be looking at establishing. And it was also highly recommended during the surveys and the town meetings that we had when we were developing the master plan, that those were things that citizens of South Padre really would like to see.
Yeah, we just gotta figure out how to protect them,
Right.
which is just sad that they get beaten up where they get really sad.
So what are we doing with the item 7? It's just
How about
discussion. possible
There's
action.
motions to direct staff to look at implementing a water hose system at the beach accesses where water is available. Does that work for anybody?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, well, item number 8, discussion and possible action on improvements to ensure our beach and community ecosystem is well protected.
I had asked Christina to put an item on there that deals with beach properties going into the sand dunes and digging out and piling sand on top of existing vegetation, and tunneling through existing sand dunes, and just doing things that's against our policy and against the GLO. I know we have two condo properties on the beach who dug and manicured and maintained and chipped away at sand dunes. And, looks like the Roundup has been used to keep the vegetation from getting close to the boardwalk, one of them. And I was talking to an owner, they grabbed me on the beach the other day and they said, well, how are we supposed to know this? I said, well, your manager should know. That person has a job managing a beachfront property. They should be a little aware that sand dunes are sacred, but they're still pleading in ignorance. So maybe something can be generated out of Shoreline Department that kind of has the do's, don'ts, and then the permitting process, and coming before this board for building new ramps and different stuff, but I don't know, maybe those are the only two managers on the beachfront who didn't realize you couldn't go out there and take a shovel to the dunes, but to me, that's kind of, ask before you start digging into the situation. Maybe somebody really is just ignorant, doesn't realize how sacred they are, but I think maybe something written from the Shoreline Department, your blessing, your words, and something that's an easy, don't do this, you can do this, call this number before you dig, they're well aware of those, that seems to get their attention, so something to get their attention, all the beachfront, single-family residences and the condo buildings and hotels, maybe management needs to be aware that there are certain rules in place with the GLO and also with the city.
So I think it's very important that everyone knows how important our dunes are. So educating the public, I think, is a good point for this. And so I have been, after I got your recommendation to put this on as an item on our agenda, I've been brainstorming with our PIO about ways we can get information out there and educate the public and those property owners that are on the Gulf. I don't know, one way would be maybe a brochure of sending out a brochure of why our dunes are important, what you can and can't do in the dunes, and having my contact information on there if they were to have questions to call me, so I can walk them through what needs to be done, if it's a permit or, whatever they need. Another option would be maybe Facebook posts as well. A lot of people follow our city's Facebook page. So, doing just little posts here and there, saying, hey, our dunes are important. Let's try and protect them. They're great for, they're our only protection against any storm surge. So I don't know if that was something. I wanted to kind of see what your thoughts were on getting the information out there. That's what we have been brainstorming, and we're going to try and think of more ways too. So.
I'm not sure if there is some type of annual permit or document or something that some of these beachfront hotels or condos obtain, or even with their hotel motel tax exchange. But if there was an additional document in there that just gave the notices, because I know that surely there's some type of communication there, but if we could include an additional attachment. I don't know if it's possible to include a little check here that you have received and understand how to properly maintain the dunes, or what you would need to do to, put in a mobile mat or a walkover or whatever it may be, that they kind of get a list of.
Abby, you had a really good point there. One way of getting in touch with a majority of these condos and beachfront owners, or you're not gonna get with the houses so much, but when they get their annual chair permit, that's a great way of notifying, because the owner has to sign that chair permit along with the vendor.
Well,
And that would just be one, but it's a very easy way to notify a large majority of the big properties.
And something else to consider, the reason for doing this annually is because board presidents change.
Yeah.
The property managers change, but if it's done annually, then we can reach them.
And then you can have the beach crew on the houses and places that don't have permits. I'm sure you have a chart of who has chair permits. Then you can have the beach crew just drop off a flyer at the door or whatever, and solve all that problem. That'll be a good, and again, you need to get a reminder whenever someone pulls a beach student's permit.
Is that not outlined in chapter 22? There
Permits?
is one of those that we have that gives you a full-blown picture of the do's and don'ts of.
Chapter 22 discusses, yes, our permit process when you need a permit, but a lot of people, maybe they don't.
You're talking about what to do and don't about the dunes, not about the permits. What you can and can't do to the dunes.
Right.
In chapter 22, not necessarily what the permit process is what you're referring to.
Correct. Because what we saw at one of the condominium complexes, they had excavated on either side of their walkway and actually built a Grand Canyon right there and moved all the dune out of the way while they were in violation of doing that. So if we had something that gave them a clear understanding of what you can and cannot do, that might just make life easier for everybody else. And then you don't get cited for doing things that you shouldn't be doing on the beach.
And I think it's a combination also of doing something, a document, an annual document like Abby's suggesting, and also doing the brochures and the Facebook. You're trying to reach two different audiences or multiple audiences. And the people that are managing, if you give them a document, they will be more serious and considerate than a brochure.
Right.
Because a brochure will go in the desk and forget it, but a document is a little bit more important.
But something that they would have to, if they were to sign it or check the box, that's going to put a little bit more accountability on that.
Right.
They can't play the, I didn't know aspect any longer because you have the document that says, well, we gave it to you and you signed it, that you understood.
And where's the section that says that that tells them they can be cited for damaging the dunes?
That is in chapter 22.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up to $500 a day.
Okay, well, that would be,
Has anybody ever gotten fined?
Not since I've been here.
Yes,
Yes.
Pictures.
Okay.
yes, very good.
Just curious,
I mean, no.
isn't there language also in the beach erosion response plan?
Yes, there is. Yeah, so it's covered in all of our documents. So I think it's just, we need a way to get that information out there so everyone knows and they're educated.
So should we make a motion to get something from chapter 22, or do we table it until we get whatever something from 22?
I think we can just make a motion that suggests the staff works out a plan to notify the beachfront owners of the do's and don'ts with the dune management system. And let the staff do however they feel best to do it.
Develop the document first.
We'll develop a document, just let the staff document that's not gonna go with it.
Bullet points, don't have to have every picky rule and everything, just the major stuff that gets their attention.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to micromanage staff, just let staff go out there and we support them going out there and contacting those owners however they see fit.
I think if they do develop something like that, I think the Shoreline Taskforce should just take a quick look at it just to see what we think of it.
Okay. I agree.
Any other discussion? Okay, so we do have a motion, then that's the way we want to proceed. Do we have a second?
So,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item number 9, discussion on multi-map maintenance.
I have a picture here.
Yeah, you can bring it over.
For the work?
It'll work up on that monitor, yeah, on the overhead projector. It won't work on our camera. It won't work on that iPad. Why don't you walk up there with the iPad, right there,
Oh, there we go.
So there is a edging on some multi mats that Neil and I saw the other day, and Neil took this shot. Every so often, there's a washer and a screw that attaches it to the multi mat, but they're probably 5 feet apart. So in between the screws and the washers, the edging, which is rubberized, it slips off. So we either maybe have to use the same kind of attachment, but more frequently, or just take it off and run with the bare edge.
Well, and the only reason that we brought it up is the fact that the multi-mats are fairly new. And if it is a construction defect, I mean, we need to get the representative out here from multi-mat just to give it a look at, and make sure that it's not going to be a premature failure of the device after we spent a lot of money to install them.
And it doesn't have a rivet system like the one that Stormy's showing there. There's a rivet.
No, this is the side. This is the east-west on the edge, and then that's the north-south.
Ah,
You see,
okay.
it's
But still it doesn't have a rivet, it's just.
yeah.
Okay.
And also, this bar with 2 spikes that go down, I don't know, 6-7 inches, backs out. So it's right for somebody to jam their toe or take a chunk of skin off their foot in the evening, or sometimes they're covered with sand and you really don't see it very well. But this is at right next to Sun Type 2, the ramp that goes over the dunes, and this is the Moby mat that takes the ramp, extends the ramp to the edge of the dune line. But this is backing out. I stepped on it every day when I go by there. Every other day, I'll step on it, push it down a little bit, but it backs back out, so it's not holding in place. And this bar, it's the same at the other end. It seems to be backing out more so in the middle here. But those are two little defects that I think we could find a fix.
Well, and if MobiMat's gonna come out and look at the edging, they could also come out and take a look at that and see if they can't come up with a solution to go ahead and make it permanent.
Well, yeah, I don't know if we'll get their rep here to do this, but we can send him pictures.
Lord knows we bought it.
Yeah, we want to know MobiMat, they should
Yeah.
definitely come out.
So we have been in contact with him. I know our crew emailed him, I believe last week for, I think, more of the rings because they are getting, they're rusting. And so the table that I added, I just wanted to let you guys know what is being done with the Moby mats. So this is the monthly maintenance. So each week they do, they're out there and, well, every day they're out there. Every day they are constantly checking the mats, making sure, because they're out there cutting grass. So they're always making sure the stakes are in. Once a month with each mat, they actually remove all the mats. They roll them up. They rake underneath to make sure it's staying flat underneath so, we don't have hills. And then they roll them back down and they're replacing the stakes about once a month. So we are out there monitoring them. The stuff that you kind of are seeing that's inherent with the Moby mat, it's gonna happen. But I will get in contact with the rep and see about the size, what we can do. And like I said, they're getting replacements for the rings out there shortly. And we're checking on the warranty as well,
So those stakes are being replaced once a month?
roughly.
That heavy duty galvanized material once a month?
That's what I
Wow.
Why are you replacing them?
if they're breaking or they're rusting.
Oh, it's galvanized. It's a pretty good finish on it.
Yeah, it looks like it's hot dip galvanized. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that it's being replaced once a month.
And also, having to do with educating the beachfront managers and owners about Moby mats. I think there's a process that we recommend that they do if it's their Moby mat where they lift and shake and reposition it down because the dunes are continually growing. And what we've seen is people are chopping away the sand dune and digging out around it and pitching it back on top of the existing dunes, when that shouldn't be the process to maintain.
We're breaking our dunes. The city's breaking them to make them all flat and level again. So it's good for the city, not good for the
Well, I don't know, that's another subject. I'm talking about owners on the beachfront dealing with their Moby mats.
Well, I understand. But she said that we roll them up, we rake it smooth again, and then we roll it back down.
Well, whatever the process is, I think it's better than shearing off the dunes and moving them over a foot.
No, I agree with that
Yeah,
completely.
okay.
Not cutting them with.
I don't care what they do, as long as it's in compliance
Right.
with beach smart decisions to keep the resiliency of our beach or build up the resiliency where there's lack of it.
Sorry, sir.
Real quick comment, Terry Schwartz, that plate you see at the end of the Moby mat, it is a real serious issue. One evening, I tore my flip-flop, fortunately I had a flip-flop on it, tore it out the phone, got stuck on that, they're pretty sharp. I called Public Works, they took care of it immediately. So when you see something like this, report it because it is dangerous. I've seen a picture of somebody cutting their foot on that thing, it's ugly. But what happens, they're driven in and that plate keeps coming up. And especially in the evening, you can't see it, you're gonna hit it. So just, when you see something like that, point out public works so they can get on it right away. I'm not addressing you, but any members of the public that are listening, report at Public Works. Thank you.
They can also call me and I can reference our, tell our shoreline crew as well,
You could put it on their daily schedule of just
checking.
checking and hammering it down. I mean, do that, or maybe we should get some glow in dark paint, them the way we see it tonight.
Any other discussions for item 9? If not, the meeting is adjourned.